everyone. We're back with another installment of the Spartan Strong web series where we catch up with alumni from around the world and talk story about their life experiences and professional careers. Today, we're excited to talk to Heather Mao, who is currently working with the Dallas Mavericks.
Let's start off with who is Heather Mao?
And that's a loaded question. You could take that into many different ways. So I guess I'll first off by saying that I am a Maryknoll graduate, class of 2007, born and raised, and very proud of being, from Hawaii and stuff. And I think that's the first thing that catches a lot of people's eye, especially in the league when, you're introducing yourself. And I always am very proud of where I'm from. So I am the assistant athletic trainer for the Dallas Mavericks. This is my first year with the Mavericks. And prior to this, I spent 3 years with the Lakers organization as their head athletic trainer for their G League team. So kind of what that entails is I would split time, with my G League team. And whenever the G League season was done, I would flip over and help out with the Lakers, which was majority of all of their off-season stuff and their summer things and preseason games, practices, and training camp and all that jazz. So, so I guess I'm an athletic trainer.
Sounds good. All right. So we have seen players fishing, golfing, and doing other activities in the bubble. What have you been doing during your free time?
So it's funny because the free time is very far and few in between. And it's something that I actually had to explain to my family that, we're playing games every other day and we're having practices in between those games. So free time is kind of sparse, to be quite honest. But when I do have free time, and if the weather cooperates here in Orlando, you can always find me at the pool. And it's funny because we're staying at, the same hotel with 7 other teams. And it's been known that I'm the girl that stays at the pool all the time. So that's the Hawaii in me, I need to be in the water and need to be in the sun. So I don't really like spending time in my room. So if I'm not at the pool, then I'm usually trying to catch up with a lot of my other friends in the league. Very thankful that I do have friends that are staying in the same hotel as myself. So we usually, go outside on the patio or at the pool, drink wine, catch up, just try to get outside of our team because we're with each other a lot.
Are you guys able to do like Uber Eats and DoorDash and all that?
So kind of a variation of it. So there are like approved restaurants outside of the bubble that we're able to order, ahead of time. And we've done that as a team a few times. So just to kind of break up the monotony of the same food that we've been eating here, which is, still, it has been really great and it tastes great, but just to kind of break up the monotony of eating, the same food from the same place type of thing. So it's been good to have that option. And they've been adding about 1 or 2, I'd say, restaurants, every week or 2 weeks in order to give us, a lot of variation. So the league has done a really amazing job with that.
The Mavs roster features the most players from different countries and cultures, similar to how Hawaii is built upon many different cultures. How has your experiences in Hawaii shaped your interactions with players from all around the world?
So obviously the Mavs have kind of, had, I guess you could say, label or stigma around them as them being, kind of almost like the United Nations team that embraces a lot of different cultures and a lot of different people from around the world. And I directly, attribute my interactions and my ability to connect with those players a little bit, maybe perhaps easier than some. And I'm just speaking, just on my interactions with them. And it's funny because I actually do work with probably the most amount of players that are international players. And I think, with just Hawaii just being kind of a cauldron of just different cultures, and granted they're, majority of our Asian cultures or, Polynesian cultures, we just have, I think, probably a better understanding and a little bit more of an open mind when it comes to embracing other cultures. And I kind of take that to heart and live that in my professional life and kind of always have.
Right.
just because it's something that's ingrained in all of us, growing up in Hawaii. So it certainly helped me connect better and a little bit easier with our international players for sure.
So the Mavs have one of the tallest rosters in the NBA. With that
Hmm.
said, in the past, there have been difficulties in keeping those taller, lengthier players healthy throughout the entire season. So what do you do to ensure the health of your taller players?
So, it's kind of a multifaceted thing. I think we
Mm,
have a really great staff as far as, sports medicine and our strength staff, when it comes to, working and dealing with, these larger individuals.
right.
And so there's nothing specifically that I personally do to help maintain the health and well-being of our taller players. We kind of just have to understand their bodies a little bit better.
Right.
With taller people, taller individuals, they're working with
Right.
longer levers. So, you have to kind of take that into account. And
That makes
especially, um, specifically, I guess, with our taller players, sometimes their joints don't really move the same as, how your joints and my joints would work for us normal size humans. So you just
mm,
kind of have to have a better understanding of that and load and how to manage all of that. So I would probably have to say a lot of joint mobilizations and just knowing how to properly load their joints and their longer levers. So we've got a really great team and a really great thing going on here with our strength coaches and our staff members. Both of my bosses are in their currently their 16th season here with the Mavs.
mm.
And our director has been in the NBA for 20 years. So they have a lot of knowledge when it comes to dealing with that. So I'm just trying to, soak up all as much learning as I can from them. But at the end of the day, it's the human body. So,
Mm.
they just need a little bit more maintenance and care than the others. So
Boban Marjanovic stands at a whopping 7'4",
mhm.
second tallest player in the league next to Taco Fall. What is it like taping their ankles?
Well, specifically, Boban doesn't get his ankles taped, so luckily we don't
Oh,
have to deal with that. But there are other people on our team that are
right.
still,
Just as tall.
fairly just as tall, or
Right.
if not pretty up there. And
Right.
you just kind of have to know your angles a little bit more, like I was kind of mentioning, and kind of apply physics into that, when taping and stuff. So,
Right.
but I guess I've been used to it for the past 4 years working in professional basketball. So,
Mhm.
um, kind of really hasn't, I guess, really affected how I tape an ankle, I guess you could say. Just
Right.
got to learn how to deal with different angles and stuff. So,
Okay, so Luka
yeah.
Doncic is a rising superstar in the league at such a young age. What
Mhm.
do you think is attributed to his early success on the court and professionalism off the court?
So, what people, I guess, forget to realize with Luca is that he's
Mhm.
been playing pro basketball since he was 16.
Oh.
So he obviously started out in the EuroLeague, was named MVP of the EuroLeague, which is pretty damn good. And
Mhm.
obviously he's continuing to succeed in the NBA. And so he's been a pro since he was 16, and now he's 21. So he's,
Mhm.
you know, knows what needs to be done when it comes to being a professional on and off the court. He's pretty impressive when it comes to transitioning from, different countries. So he played in Spain, in Madrid, and coming to the US,
Mhm.
just adapting to a different culture, a different language, has been pretty amazing to watch. And granted, this is my first year, but I spend a
Mhm.
lot of time with him to know that it's pretty amazing
He's
for
still learning.
as young as he is too.
Right.
He's was raised by, a great family, and that definitely attributes to his professionalism off the court. He's very respectful, but also is, has a balance of being very playful since he is 21. um, and yeah, he's continuing to succeed on the court, as he put up crazy numbers actually last night, and is
Right.
breaking history books, in the league. So it's been pretty amazing to get a kind of a front row seat for that.
I like the virtual audiences, man. It must be a
Yeah,
crazy
it's
feeling,
been a
right?
little,
Like
yeah, it was trippy
it's
to see
eerie.
at first. Yeah.
Most people know Mark Cuban through his electric personality during games and, of course, Shark Tank. How has it been working with such a driven owner?
It's been really amazing, to be honest. You know, Mark is not only a very outspoken and driven owner, but he's extremely
Spoken.
supportive, like
Right.
especially specifically throughout this whole COVID
Mm,
situation. He's been so supportive on letting us being able to provide whatever the players and staff, whatever our needs are or our wants. There's really no question about it. So to have his support throughout all of this during the pandemic and during the restart of the NBA season has been tremendous. Like it's pretty outstanding. There's been no pushback with anything and in any of the decisions that we've made. It's been really awesome to see that. And prior to COVID, sometimes he would travel with us. And at the end of the day, he's just a regular guy. Like people don't
right.
realize that he's from Indiana, so
Right.
he's, not from typical, LA or whatever,
From New York.
people
Right.
may think. Exactly. So he's a really down
Right.
to earth guy. It's been really awesome to work for him, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, exactly right. So, what are your plans after the season ends? Of course, after the Mavs wins the title. Yeah.
It's funny because I asked my boss this actually probably about a couple hours ago, and I've been thinking about it a lot
Mhm.
recently. So one, my probably first order of business is try to get home to Hawaii, since the last time I was home was in April of 2019. So um, hopefully to get home to Hawaii. The second one would probably be take like a legit real vacation, whether it's within the United States or if I can get out of the country somewhere where there's, not much to do, but obviously there's an ocean. Hopefully
Right.
the weather will be nice too. So it all kind of depends on when they plan to restart the NBA season as well.
Right.
So there's been a couple scenarios, whether starting at the end of this year or into 2021. So that
Mhm.
kind of depends on when we can all take vacations and stuff. People
So
also
crazy.
forget to realize that the draft needs to still go on and
Right.
pre-draft stuff
Right.
needs to go on, which we have to, play a decent part in. So
Mm.
scheduling is kind of up in the air probably for like everybody else in the world. So we're going to have to see after this pandemic though where everybody goes and stuff. So
Right.
but hopefully we'll get a couple weeks or so to kind of just everybody just shut down, go home to your families, be with
Mhm.
your family, since we've been, away from them for so long.
All right, last question. Okay, so any professional advice you want to share with our alumni who are looking to get into the same industry or, just starting their careers off in general?
So I kind of look at this as kind of a twofold thing. One is professional, obviously goals or paths, and one is kind of personal. Specifically, if people are interested in getting in this field, you personally have to be someone who doesn't mind working their butt off. Even at this level in the NBA, you have to be able to have a blue collar work ethic, as I call it. Like just
Interesting.
being
Right.
able, okay, to do the dirty work overtime, be selfless in your actions, because at the end of the day, you're providing services, for the betterment of one person when you work with them directly on a one-on-one basis, or,
Mhm.
it's actually a whole team. And
Right.
that's not excluding players. You also have to make sure, that your coaches are taken care of. And I think personally, someone has to have just the right personality for it. And professionally, I would probably have to say, athletic training is moving in a different route right now, where athletic training won't be offered at the bachelor's, degree level, so to speak, and it's
Oh,
only
interesting.
offered in a master's degree. So
Oh.
and that's the route that I thankfully have took.
Mm.
So I would probably have to say, for when you're thinking about a bachelor's degree, to either do it in pre-PT or exercise science, kind of along those routes, making sure that you have all your prerequisites for your master's degree, and then find a program that's going to
Mm.
put you in the right place professionally when it comes to athletic training. So it's kind of a twofold answer in my eye.
Wow. That's crazy. Damn. So they just recently did that where you have to get your master's and everything?
Yeah, they're only going to
Wow.
accept master's levels. So a lot of like the colleges and universities that have like grad assistants,
Hmm.
they've now either turned those into full-time assistant positions, or kind of just gone away with the GA positions, just because that's no longer going to be respected in the field anymore. So yeah, so who knows what will come about of it after this
Yeah.
whole COVID thing. So
Right. All right, Heather, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate learning about what you're doing and, more about this NBA bubble.
yeah.
And I hope you have a great season. We're going to be, cheering on for your team out here at Maryknoll, and we all
Yeah.
support you and everything. So, all right.
We're always looking for alumni stories to share, so feel free to reach out or send us a class note. We'll be posting new episodes every month, so be sure to follow us on all our social media channels for updates on everything alum. Mahalo for tuning in.